When reason is present, anger is unnecessary. When anger is present, reason is forgotten. And that's kind of the driving force of this video. Have you ever found yourself just angry and you don't really know exactly why you're angry, so you start blaming everything that's happening right then and there as irritating or why you're angry, or you start blaming and coming up with random excuses from the past as to what's driving you to be angry right now? And this video is just kind of going to be based around it. Should we act on anger, or is violence necessary? Because what I just said in the beginning of that video is a sort of Taoist concept. It's a Taoist concept about how humans have the ability and the conception of reason, of explaining themselves and how they feel and what's going on. Therefore, we don't need to act on anger. We don't need to act out in a violent way. As for animals, animals do not have the sentience of conscious reasoning. They don't sit down with somebody or some other animal and tell them what they did made them feel bad or why they are upset with that other animal. They act on their instinctually driven anger. They act on their instinctually driven, their drives of acting out on this in this violent way to dissolve danger or solve the problem, you know. But clearly, humans are not animals. We are not primal, instinctual animals, at least anymore. And that's another thing I want to talk about in this video, is that I feel like we get angry and act out in anger in ways that are completely unnecessary. And survivalistic anger, that's a little more comprehensible than the anger that we invoke today. It's no longer based around survival. The anger that we feel today and is present today is not about trying to stay fed and hydrated and warm and safe, you know. It's not about that. It's about defeating the other person, or showing the other person that you're better, or proving to the other person that you're stronger and they're weak, or that your side is better than their side. It's not revolved around actually surviving. And I feel like it's got to the point where what we get angry about has virtually no stance in reason. It doesn't make sense because the idea of justification in anger is dangerous. Just because you can justify something to yourself doesn't mean you should act out on it because you can explain to yourself why you feel that way. It's a dangerous way of thinking. The ability to see this anger should be enough to show you that letting go into this state of rage is not necessary, at least with what we're raging about in today's generation, you know? I feel like our types of irritation and agitation and anger, it used to be in relation to being safe and surviving and keeping a head on our shoulders so we can just stay strong and true through this experience of life. But I feel like once civilizations got comfortable, as in they no longer needed to worry about survival, and because they always had food over there, water over there, it's warm over there by the fire, it's colder over here if you want to cool down. They had everything. They didn't have to fight or worry about their state of surviving anymore. And they didn't get angry and enraged about the fear of dying anymore. So I feel at that time we began redirecting what makes us angry, and it began being related to societal, civilized type anger, where it's, you just took that from me, I need it more than you do, or someone is interacting with somebody else and you want them to be interacting with you instead, that type stuff. I feel like the second we were able to not worry about surviving anymore, we got bored and redirected our anger in a way of trying to manipulate the situation even more. And basically what I'm trying to say here is that when you feel this feeling of anger in a situation, say somebody insults you or somebody walks up that you don't necessarily like, and you feel these feelings of anger and frustration, to give way into those feelings and allow them to carry around the situation you're in only results in more pain for you and the others around you in that situation. And that you have the ability to not act on that feeling and simply not care, not let it affect you, find it funny, not even think anything of it. Those are much better alternatives than acting out on this rage and anger. If anger wasn't present, we would all, let me rephrase this. If we all were able to reason and talk things through, because we have the ability to do so, although the feelings of anger and frustration would be there, they would not be animated into our life experience. Nobody would act out on these feelings of anger. Although they feel them and see them, they leave them as a neutral feeling, because that's just what it is. And it does not require any sense of action. The second you feel anger, you gotta defend yourself or cover up what you did wrong. You know, it's not like that. That's a conditionally implied illusion in your mind that when you feel angry, it's because somebody did something to you. No. It's because your body is reacting conditionally to a certain situation. And it's on you to do something or not do something, to care or to not care. It's not ingrained in you to be angry at certain situations. You're taught to, when this happens, you get angry, you know? But that doesn't mean keep doing that, because as you can see, the level of violence and anger that we have gotten to in today's time it's insane. It's insane that, and the things we're angry about, like I said, they have nothing to do with just simply surviving, being okay physically, you know? We've gotten very selfish with our anger. And it's gotten to a point where what we're angry about it doesn't matter what we're angry about. And I could even say that what we're angry about doesn't even exist in the way that you think it does. Because to think that you have to have that action in you, that's not true. The The feelings will be present. The feelings of anger. But as you continue to not act on them, what makes you angry will begin to get smaller and smaller. By constantly acting on those rising feelings of anger, you put yourself in a situation where you are readily growing what makes you angry, and you are on the defense, ready to snap at any given moment. And a lot of people are like that. And the point of this video is basically, do we have to act on this anger? Although we can feel it, is it necessary to convey it with the ability to simply explain or not explain, do nothing? Is anger necessary with the abilities to do that stuff? So that's basically it for this video. Hope you got something from it, and I will be back with more.